shit. You know, it's like, why did they break the rules of the road? Well, they'd say, why does a dog lick its balls? Because it can. And that's exactly what the story is. You know, I'm a road user in Thailand. I ride this. And I drive this. So, between driving this and riding this, I think I'm well qualified to talk about this. And this is road manners in Thailand. It's not about traffic accidents, it's not about the rules of the road, although we touch on that. It's all about the road manners or lack of road manners in Thailand. And if you want to see me vent, you've come to the right place. So yes, road manners in Thailand are the lack thereof. As I said earlier on, as you saw earlier on, I drive here. I've been driving here for 10 years. I've had my fair share of shunts, let's say, and one almighty crash. I wasn't even in the car at the time, by the way. Just that's a side note. How can you have a crash if you're not in the car at the time? Well, someone crashed into me. They did me the courtesy of crashing into me, and then they tried to make off. But that's another story, but I'll include that story in this story if you want me to. Well, you probably do want me to. But however, I drive this and I ride this. I've been driving that for 10 years because I bought it new when I came here. And I've been riding that for about a month. I bought it new a month ago. And I think, based on that I'm well qualified to speak about road manners in Thailand, or the lack thereof. And to be honest with you, the Thais are amongst the most polite people on the planet. They really, really are. And they extend this politeness to their traffic directions. If somebody, some individual is in charge of directing traffic, whoever that may be, this, by the way, means come forward. And that could be at 100 meters away. How are you supposed to know what the hell that is? And this means go that way. Now, maybe it's self-explanatory, it looks, but where I'm from, this means come forward, and this means go that way. But that's not my main gripe. My main gripe is the lack of road manners. And as I said, from the most polite people in the world to, it's like a Jekyll and Hyde. It's like a metamorphosis. What's the plural for metamorphosis? Metamorphosai, I presume. I don't know, because we're talking in the plural here of people in general. I think I'm going to have to move the camera because there's a car coming and I can't rely on their courtesy to allow me to do this if I'm in their way. But there again, I'm in their way. But here's the deal. So, I'm going to move the camera. So, I just had to move out of his way. But however, this lack of courtesy that's afforded to every road user, they don't reserve it for the foreigner. Oh no. They extend it to every road user. Basically speaking, if you're trying to pull out of a junction, a T-junction, and you've got your indicator on and you want to turn left or right, by the way, we drive on the left here in Thailand, so if you're turning right, you have to cross the traffic to go onto the opposite lane. That's the worst case scenario, because they will not let you out. I'll repeat that. They will not let you out. You have to force your way out. Motorcycles will dart out. If you're the driver, or you're let's say you're proceeding on the main thoroughfare and a vehicle, i.e. one of these, is coming out of a side road, do you think that individual, that motorcyclist, is going to pay heed to the traffic that's already on the main road? Absolutely not. They would just dart out. It happened to me this morning. While I was coming back from dropping my son Harry off at school. There's a road that veers around. It veers around in a sharp bend to the right as you're driving on the left. It veers around and there's a road that joins it. It's actually a junction. And the Thais don't treat it as a junction. Well, they do, but they treat it as an inverted junction. You say, what's an inverted junction? I'll explain. The road veers around to the right. So you don't have to put your indicator, or in America you say your turn signal. You don't have to put your indicator on because the road is veering around. It's not a turn. You just veer around. You follow the road around. But the Thais seem to think this is a junction, so they put on their indicator as they veer around. And if you don't put on your indicator or your traffic signal, your turn signal, they go crazy. And today, or it happens all the time, an individual or individuals, 3 people no less on a motorcycle, darted out from the adjoining road. In other words, they were at the junction, they should have stopped, but they didn't. They treated it as a straight run and they ran straight through. And that is not uncommon here. It's almost compulsory. They just don't give a shit. You know, it's like, why did they break the rules of the road? Well, you'd say, why does a dog lick its balls? Because it can. And that's exactly what the story is. Because they can. They can do what they damn well like on the roads. And they do. The idea of allowing someone to cross at a pedestrian crossing, we call them zebra crossings. In America, you probably call them zebra crossings or crosswalks, the black and white things. In Ireland, where I'm from, you indicate your intention of traversing la rue. I know you can't use the word in French, it's traverse la rue, but I don't know what the present continuous is in French, but let's say crossing the road. You indicate your intention and you put your toe on the zebra or zebra crossing or crosswalk. The cars will stop for you because that's an indication to the traffic that the pedestrian wants to cross and the pedestrian comes first, so the cars will stop. In Thailand? No way, Jose. You can put your toe out, your whole foot out, you can put your leg out, you can put your whole self out, but they won't stop for you. No way, Jose. You've got to force the issue. In most of these zebra crossings, there's red flags in these kind of scabbards, these things for holding the flags affixed or welded to lampposts, and you have to hold up the red flag as you cross the road, reminiscent of the Red Flag Act. When they first had motorised vehicles in England, they introduced this Red Flag Act where somebody had to walk in front of the car at walking pace because they felt it was too dangerous for the car to drive at greater than walking pace. It was called the Red Flag Act. You can Google that one. I don't know if it was the same in the States, but it's reminiscent. Not that I know about it. Well, I didn't live back then, but I read about it, so I use the term reminiscent. It's reminiscent of the Red Flag Act. Having to use a red flag to cross the road? Are you absolutely out of your mind? Is it any wonder that the Thais, I would say, not the Thais, but in Thailand has, I think, now don't quote me, it's not a statistic, but we're there or thereabouts, it's a ballpark. Thailand has the highest rate of road fatalities in the world. I think it's 60 people per day in Thailand perish on Thailand's roads. Is it any wonder? Because if they're going to go round and not giving due courtesy to fellow road users, i.e. motorcyclists, dry car drivers and pedestrians and cyclists, and the cyclists, you haven't got a hope in hell. I had a bicycle. I mean, that's akin to riding a bicycle. Well, it's not really, but they don't give you any chance of survival. So guys, if you are going to come to Thailand and rent a car, my advice to you is, if you're not from a country that drives on the left-hand side of the road, think twice. If you're from a country like Ireland or Japan or Jamaica or Australia or New Zealand or even the UK, who drive on the left-hand side of the road, if you're from one of those countries, you've one less thing to worry about because you're used to driving on that side of the road. But that doesn't equip you for the sheer bedlam you're going to encounter on the streets of Bangkok and elsewhere. So guys, I hope that you found this video informative, because I like to inform you, and I feel that I'm informed because I get to drive and to ride on the streets of Bangkok, and I'm also a pedestrian. So there you go guys. If you haven't subscribed to this channel already, click that subscribe button, click that like button, click the share button, do all those wonderful things, and I'll bring you back another wonderful video very soon. Thanks for joining me.